Yo, what's going on, Team Tweedie? I hope you're all super well. Welcome to hashtag Ask Tweedie, the football show where you guys send in your football related questions. I do my absolute best to answer them and give you guys as much value as possible. Today, I'm actually on my veranda, balcony, whatever you call it, wherever you're from. Episode 37, wow. I was meant to release this last Tuesday, but then with the flights and everything else, you know, it was just tough. So we're gonna smash this one out. I got some good questions here. Remember, if you want your question answered, you must leave it in the comments below and then I will get to it there. If not, send me an Instagram message. I'm not too active on Snapchat. It's best to reach me on Instagram if you want to keep your name private. Otherwise, you know, if you put it in the YouTube comments, your YouTube name will be put, well, I'll say your YouTube name. So, starting off. Let's start off with this one. When will club... Spence, how are you going? He's probably going to start barking sometimes throughout this video. Almost guaranteed. When will clubs pay for your flights for a trial, and how do you increase that chance? That comes in from Jore. So, I can't remember the last story I heard of someone having their trial paid for, so their flights, their accommodation. I think it's so rare now that it just doesn't happen. Clubs expect you to fly over there, especially in the world that we live in with social media. Now you have highlights videos that you can send over. You need a CV. There's a ton of things. Here we go, he's barking at someone. Yeah, you have your CVs, you have your highlights video that you're expected to send over. Back in the day, I guess there were some times where football players might have been poor and they're like, well, look, you need a, well, we'll help you get over here by paying for your plane ticket, and we'll pay for this and we'll pay for that. Now, the only clubs that are going to do that are maybe a Manchester City, a Manchester United, those very, very big clubs. But then you look at their first team, why would they pay for someone's flights when they're paying them 200 grand? Manchester City are only going to be buying players who are at the top level. So we're talking league, well, like the first division in a country. I know a Crawley town would never pay for flights. You're expected to put the grind in off the field as well. And this is something that, look, if you have parents who are willing to support you, there's no big deal. I feel like that's massively frowned upon. A lot of people ask me like, oh, he just has rich parents, or he just lives off his parents, which obviously isn't true if you know who I am. But I think there's a big thing of people going, wow, you're not allowed to live off your parents, you're not allowed to do this. But at the end of the day, does it really matter if your parents want to support you? They want to support you. So look, don't be fussed about that. Some people don't like, I wouldn't call it using their parents for money, because if the parents want to support you in that way, then that's what they want to do with their money. And you know, if you become a pro, I'm sure you're going to refund that money back and maybe more. But look, if you're not lucky enough to have parents who are willing to support you, or they don't have the money, or are unable to support you in that way, you need to grind off the field. We're talking working, coaching, whatever you need to do to make realistic money, so that then you can pay for these trials to go overseas, because it's not just going to come easy, I'll tell you that. That's my opinion on it. A lot of people think I need to be the best player in the world, but what if you're the best player in the world and you can't go anywhere with it? I know, like, you look at Messi, that's the only guy I can think of where they signed him from his club, wherever he was, to Barcelona, and I'm not sure if they paid his flights, but I know they paid for his like hospital bills, because he had to continue having this sort of, what was it? Like a hormone thing that allowed him to continue to grow, something along those lines. But look, it's so rare that there's no point in even relying on it. And on top of that, if you're looking at a 4th division club in England, a 3rd division club, and you say, hey, can I come trial? Oh, and guess what? You have to pay for me to come over as well. Your chances it's just going to reduce your chances massively. Don't rely on other people. Get the money yourself. Work, put the grind in off the field. Question 2, how did you get your visa to play and live overseas? Now, I've cleared this question up before, and I feel like a lot of people still don't quite understand it. And I actually think we've done it in an Ask Tweedie, but I want to do it again because the audience is growing, I guess. If you guys know the answer to this, then feel free to skip through to the next question. Remember, all the questions have timestamps down below, so if you find one that isn't interesting to you, then just skip to the next one, no big deal. But look, if you want to get a visa to go overseas, you never know what the possibilities are. So for me, I didn't know I could get this visa until 2-3 months before I left. So we're talking nearly 20 years of my life, I didn't know I was eligible for this visa. And that just goes to show that you guys need to do your research on what you can get. So you might be eligible for the ancestry visa, which is what I have. And that's simply having your parents, dad or mum, born in the UK. And that allowed me to have 5 years, allowed me to work there, make money, etc, etc. It was pretty much made me a resident of the UK. There's a lot of other things, like if your parents, like Jay somehow got his because his dad had a European passport. It's like there's so many different things that you just need to look into. And for people to say to me, Sheldon, I want to get the visa you're on, like, you can't just get that visa. You need to understand, research, and I'm not going to do that research for you. You need to do your own research. Again, it comes to hustle off the field. You can't just expect things to be done and researched for you. If, like for example, if I was going to stay in Spain, I was speaking to people all the time. Okay, there's an Australian here at this club. How did he manage to stay in Spain without a European passport? Okay, I spoke with him. Okay, what he did a language course so that he was enrolled in a student, so he had a student visa. I don't know how long he had that for, but look, that's how he did it. So instead of me going and just going, oh, this is too hard, I can't do it, I put the work in, I spoke with people, I was like, okay, I'm learning, I'm trying to learn as much as possible. Now, sorry, but we're going to try and, I'm going to move this a bit closer because I feel like that sun is really annoying. But yeah, you need to do the work off the field as well, and understand that anything, like, you don't know what visas are eligible for you. You could have a few visas where you're just like, oh wow, I didn't know I could actually have that. Sorry guys, we're gonna move inside. But yeah, you need to understand your family, speak with your parents, speak with like whoever, and see if you have something that's available to you, because if you do, then man, you just wouldn't know. And like, that researched this ages ago before I even left, and I'll tell you right now, as soon as we found out, we're like, wow, why didn't we know this ages ago? Because if we had known this since I was like, I don't know, 16, I would have gone over then. But we didn't, and you know, we did the research and got it. So yeah, do your own research, that's all I'm gonna say. Research, 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 a lot of that word. Last and final question, what is the position that scouts look for the most? Should I be content playing 6, so defensive midfielder, or push to play 10, attacking midfielder? My coach says 6 is the toughest position on the field. Do you agree? What position do scouts look for the most? Look, no position. I think some people say that it's easier to be scouted as a striker, because if you score goals, you're going to get scouted. I somewhat agree with that. I think it's difficult as well, just because you get scouted because you score goals. What if you don't score goals? What do you do? So, you know, it has its pluses and minuses. Do I think a 6 is better to be scouted than a number 10? No, because you need to think about a team. A team has 11 players. A team doesn't just have you. You need to put the team above yourself. So look, every team needs a number 6. Every team needs a number 10. So what's the difference between a 6 and a 10? If you're looking, okay, let's put it this way. If you're living in Sydney and the only club in Sydney, which is the city that I live in, there's only one club here, right? And I look at it and I go, okay, there's a guy signed, an Australian Socceroos, I'm just making this all up by the way. Guy signed, he's a Socceroo and he's on a 10-year deal and he plays as a number 6 and he never moves anywhere else, he's only as a number 6. But as a number 10, they keep shifting players around. There's always a young guy in, there's a different player each week. Then you might go, okay, look, I might try to play as a 10 because this isn't going to work if I play as a 6 because this guy's on a 10-year, whatever, 20-year deal. that's the sort of situation where you might go, okay, maybe it's better for me to swap position. But man, like, you can't narrow it down and say, yeah, 6 is better than 8, goalkeeper is better than striker. Like, they're all the same. Every team needs a positional player. They need a left back, they need a right back, they need 2 centre backs, or one centre back. There's just so many factors that go into it. Do I think 6 is the toughest position on the field? No, in my opinion, but like, they're all so complex. Every position in football is so complex, but because I've studied number 10 the most, I find that to be the most complex. I feel like it's the most creative position on the field. You have to understand where space is, you have to position yourself on the right side of the ball, but then you can make a case for left back being the most complicated position or toughest position, because now you got to look at fitness, you got to run up and down the field, you got to position yourself in a certain way, which I don't even know because I haven't studied it. There's like, I don't know, there's no real toughest position. But look, if I had to say one, I'd say 10, because like I said, it's the one that I know the most, it's the one that I've done that in-depth game analysis on. I know the most about it. But yeah, that's going to conclude it for me. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, because look, we're not running out, but it would be nice to have a few more so that I can continue to create these. I want to get ahead with them so that I don't miss an episode, because that gets pretty annoying if I do. But anyway, Team Tweedie, I'm signing out. Make sure you leave a like on this video, subscribe. If you're around here, join the hashtag AskTweedieFamily, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.